Hi, this is Margaret Maloney, and welcome to the Death Dhamma podcast. Together we will consider life, death, and impermanence. Because in between birth and death, we lose things. Not just our glasses and our keys. We lose identities, relationships, ideas, and more. But what we can gain right now is facing this together, and we will gain freedom, peace, and progress on our path. Hello, my friends, and welcome. Thank you for being here as I share some lessons learned from the beautiful discussion I got to have with Sukhema recently. In speaking with him, I was struck with these two ideas. The beautiful way in which he used poetry in our discussion about loss, and the fact that he's helped others in their grief journeys by providing them the type of ritual that they needed. So first, I want to say, if you haven't listened to Season 2, Episode 11 with Sukhema, I urge you to give it a try. I'm going to repeat one of the poems that he read to me here, but if you really want to hear someone who speaks with the heart of a poet, then you want to hear him recite poetry. He has such a talent for bringing the right poem at the right time. The poem I'm sharing with you now is called Burying Burke. And he wrote this for his granddaughter after he helped her bury her beloved hamster. So here it is, Burying Burke. Processing along the fence lined with brambles and nettles, and long stems of white yarrow with tinges of pink, we have no words. The gulls cry and the pigeons roo cuckoo accompany our short journey from the padlocked gate to plot 60, wading through damp grass, and we have no words. You choose a spot by the apple tree. We take turns digging, and then we collect flowers for inside the box, on top of the box, and to silently mark the mound. Stroking his fur before closing the lid, your mouth opens, but you have no words. Before we bury Burke, I ask you, do you want to say anything? Your lips quiver, and then you kiss your palm and toss love towards the box in the hall. We sprinkle rose petals until pink covers the lid. Then you dig until there's a mound marked with a stone, surrounded by nasturtiums, feverfew, and yellow courgette blooms. Pigeons and gulls fill the silence. After a few minutes standing still, you want a sandwich, and then you go to the tap to wash your hands, and in a quiet voice you ask, "Can we have a cuddle?" The reason I focus on this poem is that it helps me integrate something that was a lesson learned for me from my discussion with Sukhema, and that is that many of us, perhaps most of us, we need ritual in our lives. We use ritual to mark occasions of all types, things that we perceive as celebrations, things that we perceive as loss. We have graduations, we have weddings, we have birthday parties, we have wakes and funerals and memorials. And Sukhema uses poetry in his rituals. Perhaps it's reasonable to say then that poetry can be a form of ritual. And in working with cancer patients and friends and family members, Sukhema has seen that when we lose something or someone, ritual can help us to acknowledge the loss and let go of some of the things that we cling to. In fact, I remember a friend once saying that she felt like she was in this odd place because she had graduated with her degree, but she hadn't taken time to do any kind of celebration, and she had been traveling unable to go to the graduation. And in speaking, she said, "Oh, that's what it is I didn't have anything that marked this occasion." So yes, rituals help us move on, let go, take next steps. Ritual can help us to acknowledge loss and let go of some of the things that we cling to. Ritual helps us move on. And so as part of his work as a spiritual leader with his wife and partner, Ratna Devi, they have led retreats together and help with this necessary letting go. Now, some of you probably have some very specific rituals that are part of your culture and your religion. And using those rituals as prescribed is very helpful to you. Or you might find the need to modify those rituals and even to create your own. There are circumstances where we might not have a ritual to draw upon. For example, in the unfortunate instance of a miscarriage. In many circles of our societies, there's very little that is done to help a woman and her partner openly acknowledge this loss. And this is something that Sukhema and Ratnadevi have done, where they have helped women who have had miscarriages have a service and design the service that is right for them to help them acknowledge the loss. Or Sukhema also told a story of helping with the service for a friend's mother and doing a little bit of speaking and having somebody come in and sing a song that was, particularly meaningful. And we could look at music as parts of poetry and then important to our sense of ritual. Or in Buddhism, when we have pujas, this is a ritual and we have them on specific occasions. Or you could perform a puja every day, since it's basically, like we'll say, a form of a service and a recognition in a form, let's say a form of devotion. And within your puja, perhaps you have specific readings or specific mantras or chants that you do in addition to your meditation. But when we have a puja that marks specific occasions on the Buddhist calendar, it is a way of helping us get in touch with our practice, a reminder to come back to our practice, and a reminder of all the things that have existed, the causes and conditions that help us have this practice. So, perhaps like Sukhema, you work with other writers to take the poems of your recently deceased friend, add to those poems, and encourage others who are part of your writer's circle to also add and create a compilation. And in this way, you're carrying forward the work of your friend who has passed, and others are able to share their grief and their thoughts around death and dying, which is how Living Our Dying came to be. And in this way, poetry is an expression of the shared experience of losing this friend. This writing, this putting together and publishing and editing of their book, Living Our Dying, was part of the ritual of letting go of the loss. So to come full circle back to burying Burke, maybe you help your granddaughter have a burial for her hamster and let her give him the send-off she needs him to have. And in that creation of a ritual for her dead pet, she lets go of some of her sadness, and maybe she grows into a person who can embrace loss and impermanence in her life. You've been listening to the Death Dhamma podcast with your host, Margaret Maloney. Thank you so much for being here. Come find me on margaretmaloney.com, margaretmeloni.com. And until we meet again, may you be well, may you be happy, may you be at ease, and may you be free from suffering. Bye for now.